going? Yeah, all you guys are on the camera, which is really nice, showing it really great.
iPhone?
Yeah, it is an iPhone. Yeah.
So which one's transmitting to the web?
Alright, so what happens here is it's wirelessly going to the channel that I've created called One Greener Television, and that channel then is broadcasting live what we're doing right now. So I'm here today at Sundance actually talking to the folks who created the movie Dirt. And Dirt, the movie, isn't just about dirt. I'll say it that way. It's more importantly, it's about why dirt. Why is it here? And how do we continue to support the life that is dirt? And I want you guys each to kind of take your time talking about that idea for a few minutes, and then we'll start with the two guys who actually created this great idea, which is I'm blown away that you guys came up with it, and then everything worked out. We're actually inspired by the author himself, who's here today with us, William Bryant, Logan, right? That's your full name. And I am. Anytime a book gets translated to video, I'm surprised because it's such a task to do that. So talk about that process of making that translation from the book.
Well, first of all, you got to phone up the author and say, hey, we just read your book and we want to make a film out of it. And the author says to you, is this a joke? Are you kidding me? Are you people for real? And we say, yeah, we really would like to do it. And without even having a really firm idea, Bill, a mutual friend, handed Bill the book. He read it and said, whoa, there's something in it. He can tell his own sort of inspiration background for that. Handed it to me. I said, absolutely. This crosses a whole bunch of things that I've been interested in my lifetime. Is where we both were in terms of our careers and wanting to not just make another film, but both wanting to do something to help build a sustainable environment. And so then we said, there's a great movie here. What is it? What is the adaptation process? The book itself is not laid out the way a normal book that you adapt for a fiction film is. It goes at it from a bunch of different points of view. So we had to work out something based on our experience both as documentary filmmakers but as feature filmmakers, fiction filmmakers. So we started to approach it as telling a story. The story is of humans and dirt and a relationship. And that's what set us off down the path. We tried different ways of telling the story. At one point we tried a way, and he laughed, we tried to tell the story of dirt and humans from dirt's point of view, which is an extremely cool idea, but and works great for about 4 minutes, but then gets a little old, or we weren't gifted enough, although we did talk to it about Larry Gelbart, who wrote Oh God, and he didn't see an easy handle either for it. So if he couldn't, so we went to a format, and then we had to take a look at how do we marry documentary and feature structure with documentary material. And then we ran it back and forth with Bill, saying, is it okay if we change stuff around? and Bill has his own take on this as well.
Well, there was also another aspect that the film not only came from the background that Gene and I had in filmmaking, narrative filmmaking, documentary filmmaking, but it also tied in with our belief in environmental causes and philanthropic undertakings. So it blended into an area we'd never gone into before, which is to make a film that is both about the environment and doing it from a sort of pro bono perspective, doing it where what we want to do is reach people's hearts and minds, but we also are doing it from the point of view that we are looking at this as a different model. We weren't looking at it from the commercial model of making a theatrical film, which was the way Gene and I had worked on other films. So this became a conceptual shift for us as well as a film approach that was different than previous approaches. And that tied in with Bill Logan's ideas in the book about the totality of life on Earth and its life and where it came from. And then later, for example, we tied in with Andy Lipkiss here in Tree People, who was someone who was actually doing a lot of very, well, concrete's a bad word for us, but very positive action with trees to replace and remove concrete. But it was in that intersection between action and philanthropy, because he's supported by donators and a board, and many people contribute to Tree People. So we brought together a series of different movements conceptually than we'd ever done before.
And really off the chart. That the first round 4 years ago, these guys had me talking dirty, seductively to dirt, to try to convince it that not to throw us humans away. You know, that we really were coming back into partnership. So
Right.
I was really worried that might make it scream, but it sure piqued our interest.
That is really fascinating. So you actually had a scene where you were talking to the dirt itself, right?
Oh yeah, and it was a 6 or 8 camera shoot. I mean, they were trying to
It was an
emerge
experiment with 3D filmmaking that failed. The experiment with the technology, but Andy kind of
They composted me. I'm back.
Andy apparently was intrigued enough not to send us away and say you're crazy people and I don't want anything more to do with it. And it was part of the conscious expansion of our trying to find the right way to tell this story.
Sure. And I definitely appreciate that. You know, because to talk about something like dirt and make it interesting isn't an easy thing to do. So, you in writing the book itself, talk a little bit about why you chose dirt as a subject.
Well, I guess a lot of reasons, but a main one was I had been raised in California. I spent a lot of my time outdoors. I spent a lot of my time on top of dirt, with nothing between me and it. I spent a lot of time, whole summers I spent in the Sierra Nevada. To me, nature was extremely important, and soil an important part of it. And then I came to live in New York City, and I found that scarcely anyone believed in nature, never mind dirt. So, and I happened to be at the Cathedral of St. John the Divine, where there were a lot of very interesting people thinking about all kinds of different things. And I would walk up and down the Close, which is the largest private park in Manhattan. It's not private, it's open to the public, but it's owned by private people. And see all this stuff growing here and see everything around it. And I thought, why isn't anyone paying attention to the source that all this comes from, which is the soil? So it was an opportunity to write, and also to write a way I wanted to write. I didn't want to write something that was argumentative. I didn't want to get up there and say, you better take care of the soil, because otherwise... I felt that. But I wanted to write a kind of book that would approach, I regard it as an anatomy, where you'd approach from many different angles and be able to give people a constellation, much like dirt itself is made out of so many different parts and is really a secondary product